Welcome to Touched and Empowered, a show created to empower individuals to value their lives by hosting think tank discussions that will inspire positive action. Touched and Empowered with Katie and Ace starts now.
Welcome to this episode of Touched and Empowered. I am Katie here again, as always, with Ace.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
And we were talking today about your quote unquote 30-second introduction.
Yes, your elevator pitch in every room, any place, anywhere you go.
Anywhere you
Honestly,
go.
yeah, I actually didn't realize how important that thing is. It's actually very important,
It
regardless of what
is.
age.
It is. And it's one of those that a lot of, at least for me, I'm so used to just spouting off everything that I do that I forget that that's like fire hosing people because they're not going to
Yeah.
remember everything that I say. So trying to find a way to streamline it so then that way it's a little bit more clear and concise.
Oh, that's nice. Because I honestly, I'm like, I don't want to say it. I feel like I'm like, here's my short bio. Like,
Yeah, this is not supposed to be a 30-second resume.
right,
And I
exactly.
and I realized that today because as I was telling Ace, I was at a networking event earlier today. And I realized that I pretty much tried to cram my entire resume into 30 seconds and it didn't work out too well.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think it worked out too well.
Oh, yeah. So funny enough, at networking events, especially during the pandemic, we're all on Zoom,
Right?
and instead of meeting one on one, it's a little hard. So instead, sometimes people would give formats as to this should go into your 30 seconds. Um, I remember, I think we went to Manny's event once, Manny Lopez,
Lopez, yes.
and he would give a pretty great questionnaire type of format so that you knew exactly what to put in your 30 seconds or less. And I was like, it's really smart.
That is, and I've seen the ones before where it's like you give your name, where you're located, and what it is that you do.
Yeah.
Which my name and where I'm located is really easy. What it is that I do is where I started
Bleh.
rambling off everything it is that I do when I don't need to share everything that I do.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like depending on what room you're in, where you are, and what you're trying to accomplish, it actually takes some prep to actually create your 30-second, 1 minute, 2 minute elevator pitch.
Right, because you always want to tailor it for wherever you are. Because it depends as to if I am at a networking event for the Teen Suicide Prevention Society or if I'm at a mentoring or networking event as a coach or as tech support. They don't need to know all three of those if I'm only sharing about one thing that's relevant to that group.
Exactly. And it's actually fascinating because like the way that Katie and I started working together was because I had the prepped 30-second thing and then we were
Oh,
able to connect.
well, that and the unicorn horns.
I mean, what else?
Because I had on a headband with a unicorn horn and you found your baseball cap that had a unicorn horn on
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was fun. It was
it.
you never know, especially when you need to stand out. I always find that whatever you feel the most confident in, regardless if it's a unicorn horn, a strange headband, whatever it is, as long as it's like unique to you and your internal confidence. Um, mm, it makes all the difference because then people remember you for you, not something that you just tried to put on for the day.
True. And I know a lot of it is practice, just practicing saying what it is that I do and trying to narrow that down, because it can get very long.
Yeah, I can tell you I'm out of practice. I'm so out of practice.
I realized today how I'm like, oh, I've already got this. I've been doing it for years. I've helped train people on how to do this. And I'm like, yeah, no, today I was like, oh, rookie mistake.
I'm aware of it, which is really funny. I think because I'm so used to being on a screen that if I mess up horribly the first 5 seconds, I know that I have another like chance
Right.
to just fix it after I read the room. But it is actually rather fascinating because I remember the first time I was thrown into a room, they gave us here's your tell us your 30 seconds you. And I went, do blah 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 and that and this.
Yeah,
And
that's kind
I
of what I did.
and I knew I crashed. I knew I immediately crashed. And I was like, whatever. Let me just like all right, those were the mistakes. Cool. Let me just rewrite this. And then in the next room, I had like the perfect 30 seconds.
Well,
It's
thankfully
yeah.
that this was not that big of a networking thing. I think there were like there were less than 20 of us there, probably closer to a dozen.
That's pretty good.
So it was fairly small, and everyone knew it was my first time at this particular networking event. So everyone was like very kind, everyone was really sharing. The sense of community from this networking group was fantastic. It was very welcoming.
Okay.
And everyone was like holding space for everyone else. So it felt like that there was no judgment, which was great. So it did help alleviate the I just bombed it anxiety that I had to, oh, okay, learning experience. What can I do to make it better?
Let's actually talk about that. So, what normally goes into your 30 seconds? This is actually a very helpful tool. Even if you bomb it the first time, like Katie and I have, you it's good to know what's in it. So,
Yeah.
yes, your first and last name is usually nice, especially if your name is Bob.
Yeah. Or something simple like Katie. Yes.
Yes. I've learned that as long as I say Ace, I'm pretty okay. Any room I go to.
Yeah, your first name's a little bit more unique, so yes.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
location depends on the event. I think.
Yep.
I don't think that's a mandatory thing
No, not really.
for it.
Yeah, but it's nice to know if you're local. Sometimes if
Right.
you're in the area and somebody else is in a similar area, you can connect easier. So it's just for the sign of convenience, it's helpful.
Which I think that's why they had done it here at this one, was
Mm-hmm.
so everyone could see either, hey, how close you are to other people or how far apart you are. Because we had people from all over the state of Maryland and Northern Virginia at this event. So it was kind of nice to know who was really close and who was a little bit further away.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But in reference to, I think the other thing that they requested was we give our business name.
Oh, that's great.
If we
Yeah, if you
had a
have a business name.
business.
Yeah, if you have a business name, or if you have several. Yeah.
Or if you
Okay.
have several, then you want to pick whichever one is relevant to the group that you're speaking to.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Um,
but here's the thing: what if you don't know what's relevant? And that's when it gets fun.
yeah, especially when you're like the second person introducing yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because I had no idea what was relevant to this group.
So my hack for that always is what are you passionate about? What is it that you're looking to solve in the world? What is the change that you're looking to see? And how are you doing that with your business? So that type of quirk in any room, any size, you'll immediately attract the people that align with your values.
Which makes sense. And I do remember there was one 3-day event that I was a part of where it was a 7-minute pitch for that one. And for that one, it was who you are, What's your business? What is it you do? And what are you looking for?
That's a keynote speech. 7 minutes?
It was a 7-minute introduction. It was incredibly insane. And again, for me at that point in time, it was really easy because I just spouted about doing tech support for virtual events. It was a virtual event. It was really easy for me to say that I'm just looking for people who need help with their tech support during a virtual event. So I was able to keep mine down to like 3 minutes. But there were people who were like seriously going over the 7-minute mark on what it was that they were looking for.
It's
Not
exhausting.
necessarily who they were passionate about, but what it was that they were looking for.
Okay. Yeah, I think, all right. All right, let's go. Let's focus on like, folks.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Don't do that. Please don't do, unless you're actually doing like a keynote speech. Go for it. If they're specifically asking for you to do that, get creative.
Get creative, make it like a sentence.
Sure.
Instead of a paragraph, I think would probably be beneficial.
Oh, I'd go in funny about that actually. But only because like now I'm a bit more confident. I remember when I first started going to networking events and I just had no idea who was in the room, what was going on. Most of the time I was the youngest in the room. And it was very helpful to be able to mention, hey, I'm really passionate about suicide prevention and mental health awareness. I would love to find people that are looking to collaborate in achieving XYZ goals.
Right.
And saying, I do that through influencing, entrepreneurship, and talent as like a co-host. I can share that with a bunch of people. And then I would get DMs on the Zoom, like direct messages of like, hey, would love to collaborate. What's your link? And then the best way to get in contact with you should always share that, right? So I had a Calendly link where people could just set up time to speak with me for 20 minutes so we can figure out how we can work together. That's helpful, especially if you want to do it under a minute. Now, if you're getting the 7-minute mark, yeah, you got to have fun because you want people to remember you.
Right.
I would do a whole charade. Oh my gosh, somebody asked me to do 7 minutes and I don't know the room yet, but I know the host and they're not going to kill me if I do this. Yes, I would have so much fun. I want to make sure I get welcome back too. So
right. But it was very interesting because the people in this group, there were some people who were I was the newest one. I was the first time ever being there. But there was one person who had only been a part of this membership for like 3 months. There was another person who's been part of the group for like 10 years. So it was really interesting. I mean, granted, I was the second person to go. So it was really interesting to see how they filled out their 30-second space in this case on introducing who they are, what they, what their business is, what they do. And so I was like, okay, so I had a little notebook, so I was like taking notes, not only on who I wanted to connect with, but notes on, okay, need to reword this, rephrase this. But it was really interesting. I mean, this was the first in-person networking event that it might be the first one that I've ever done by myself. Because I've gone in as like my mom's assistant, as part of the team of something else. So this is the first time it was Katie all by herself.
yeah, I've gone to networking events by myself. I normally know one or two people there. Are you talking about like by myself as a business entity or by myself?
By myself as a business entity, and I knew 0 people there.
Got it. Okay.
I've gone into networking events as part of the team for the Teen Suicide Prevention Society. Or I've gone into events where I was part of the tech support team for events. So I've been like I'm a member of this group, and the whole group is represented by, so-and-so. So this was the first time it was ever me, myself, and I.
Mhm.
My business, what it is that I'm passionate about. And I know I rambled on it because there's a lot that I do and there's a lot that I'm passionate about. And I haven't found the verbiage to kind of tie it all in together.
Okay. I see. That makes sense.
Though I did hear myself say something very interesting today.
Ooh, tell me. Tell us.
I am a certified mindset attitude adjustment coach because I help
Okay.
people readjust their attitudes and get out of their own way.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. Um, Manny Lopez, which I found actually very effective. He said that if you have one of those titles, which I find like just like that, which is
Mm-hmm.
incredible, right? It's like, oh yeah, a lot of people need that. Now, for people who don't know what that is, um, a lot
It
of people
sounds
are
like
in,
something I just made up.
right, well, kind of, but for people who do know what that is, they've been in
Right,
personal development, they've been in the space, they understand what you do and how you do it, right?
right,
Now, for people who don't know what that is and aren't in personal development, the best way to identify what that is within 3 phrases, you mention who's your ideal client, like type
right,
A performers, blah 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 blah, people who do this, whatever, right? Who is your uh who is your clientele? Who are you looking for? And then you mention also what problem you solve for them or with
right.
them. And then you also um, share what is a quantifiable result. So, for instance, we as the touched and empowered, can you hear my dog?
No,
Oh, great.
we don't hear midnight right now.
Oh, good. My big puppy. Well, back to what we were saying. So, for instance, for the Touched and Empowered podcast, I remember I went into a networking room once and I mentioned we are who we're looking for. We were looking for people with adversity stories that have overcome their challenges and wanted to share their wisdom on this platform.
Right.
I also mentioned this is great for people that have it's going to be their first podcast interview.
True.
And it's not necessarily paid, right? Like you're welcome to donate if you want, but you don't have to. Versus the other platforms, which is like pay $200. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. No.
So it's like you can donate, and then because Katie and I are pretty confident about interviewing other people, we also understand that if it's your first interview, we're gonna make you look good. That's like part of it.
Right. And
Third
putting you at
thing,
ease and helping you relax. Yes.
exactly. Third thing, putting you on your first podcast, giving you social media engagement, and depending on how much you donate, right? We boost your social media numbers.
Right.
And it can go anywhere from 100 to 10,000. And we actually have those numbers, right?
Yes.
So that's how I marketed it. I was basically saying, we do this, we interview you, and we help boost your social media impression rate by 10,000 or more. That's pretty
Which explains
enticing.
why after that event, we had a whole bunch of people who signed up to be on the podcast for interviews.
Love you.
Yes, we love all of our guests.
Yes, we do. And look, we delivered. So that's additionally it. Oh, I was going to mention here, based off of that, Pamela, because we also interviewed most of
Yep.
her
Most of the people from who were part of one of her books.
Word.
Yes, mine showed up too.
Yeah, community impact. Huzzah.
Which I was very honored and surprised.
Yeah, I was very grateful too.
With it to be recognized for something that we're doing. That's not our mainstream gig, so to speak.
Yeah.
Is really touching and just provides that additional evidence that what we're doing is important.
Well, yeah, I'm really grateful to hear that. So folks, With that in mind, your 30 seconds. If you add that quantifiable aspect and that result to, like, let's say Katie is one more time.
Mindset reset attitude adjustment coach.
And if she mentioned that she took me, sat down with me for what, 3 hours, 4 hours? What was it?
When?
The time that we were transformationally adjusting energy stuff.
Okay, the first one that we did, that one was a 2.5 hour.
It had results in 2.5 hours. I can bring you to results in 2.5 hours. Immediately, next day, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that was resolving a negative event from our past.
Okay, I'm gonna make it sound
sexier.
Not just sexier. I'm just gonna add some sincere words on this one because it was
okay.
true, right?
Right.
We adjusted childhood trauma that's been pervading my life since I was 5. And then we cleared it so that I could be open to better possibilities and higher frequency energies. Now, when you say that, which is the honest given truth,
it has a lot more impact to it. Yes, it does.
Yeah. It also shows the appreciation and worth, because the thing is, the quantifiable amount of change in your results, in your services, that's what's really going to draw in someone's ear. And I'm not saying that in a way where you're trying to be persuasive or manipulative. Right. You want to say what's truly true. You just got to figure out what the truly true stuff to share.
True. And it really is, in my case, if you go to my website, for example, resolve 2 negative events from your past.
In 2.5 hours or less.
Well, I don't think I put in there 2.5 hours or less. I think I did, guaranteed results for 2 negative events from your past. In the first session, I think is what it says on my website.
That's true. Yeah.
But having the clarification, because it's not always going to be childhood trauma for whoever it is that I'm helping, but sure, having that as an example, maybe not in my 30-second intro, but having that as an example, like on my website, would definitely make a big difference. Because right now, if someone goes to my website, they're just going to see my generic description on what it is that I've done versus more specific, quantifiable, understandable, where someone reads it and they know exactly what it is. It's cupped. It's concrete, universal, and picturable. It's one of those things that, again, practice. And you've had a lot more practice public speaking or at networking events than I have, where I'm up front talking to people. I've been to tons of networking events, but I'd always been in the background because I was doing the tech support. I was, supporting whoever the person was that I was there with, where I was their assistant or whatever.
I hear that. So just to give you an idea, folks, so that it's not like, because it can be daunting, right? Yes. I understand what you're saying. It can be very daunting. Like, you haven't spoke in front of people, etc. There's actually 2 ways to solve that before you even get to the networking event. Les Brown actually shares this. One, just start speaking pigeons. Don't care. Just start talking. Yeah. To anyone, to any audience, regardless of where. You could speak to an elevator. Just start getting practice of speaking in front of people, things that you don't know.
Just speaking out loud in general.
Your dog doesn't count. Sorry.
I don't know. I have given myself a pretty good darn talking to a mirror.
Mirrors are great. They are great. But there is such a big nerve difference. Like, right? You speak in front of a mirror, you got it down. You speak in front of people.
That's true. That does happen sometimes. But the funny thing is that I have spoken in front of groups of over 2,000 people and did not have this kind of anxiety or stress or nervousness. And it's because I knew the content and context of what I was
Mhm.
talking about
Mhm.
versus I'm still not 100% clear on what I want to do because I still do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Is
that's
is
that's
probably
fair.
why it just came out the way that it did, because how can I help you? Okay, I can help you A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Because I want to help people. That's what I do.
Hmm.
Instead of this is where I know my zone of genius is,
Hmm.
and this is what I'm looking for.
Right. So depending on the room, both are right.
True.
Both are right. So here's the second way that you can resolve the anxiety going up on that stage. Start talking to children. If you can get any kid to freaking listen to you or a classroom of kids to listen to you, that nervousness is gone. Public speaking starts in the classroom. Like I remember sitting and talking in front of like all the like 30 middle school students. And if I could get them to listen, I understood I can get anyone to listen. But once you start getting that practice in, regardless if they're listening or not, it's you feel more comfortable in front of people that are listening or not.
That's true. And I think the other thing is that if you can explain it in a way that a child can understand, then it will be easier for an adult to understand without trying to figure out the jargon of whatever kind of work you do.
Right, especially if not everyone's in your industry. So
Right.
a lot of networking events that I found, they are industry centric. So if you're using jargon from, let's say, marketing, it just, it all makes sense there.
Right.
But if, let's say, you're using jargon in TV film, it's actually so much different than marketing. Really
Yes.
fascinating. And then if you're talking nonprofit and slash or public health,
Again,
so
it's different.
it's different. And what I found really interesting, fun fact, the source of your information is crucial depending on
Yes.
who you're talking to, because if you're saying, oh yeah, I read it on Time magazine versus Princeton research
Hmm.
XYZ, or any type of university research hub, whatnot, they're going to think you're an idiot. So it's really important
Yeah.
sometimes
And
to really know
yeah,
your
sometimes
sources,
it's really important to cite your sources and know that they are from creditable sources.
right? Yeah. Remember when we were making that deck and I was like, all right, we're about to talk to a House representative. We need very credible sources. And I was like,
Yes.
that one and that one.
But
Otherwise, she's not going to believe you. You need this. Yeah.
right. But and again, that's why you speak to somebody who knows this, because I didn't know which news outlets were more creditable than other ones because I don't watch the news.
It's fair. It's fair. And then I also had an extensive background in PR. So I like
Right.
really knew which
Yeah.
ones were
So right.
credible and
And but
not.
if the roles were switched and you and I were not doing it together and you didn't have any of that expertise,
We would have been
we
screwed.
would have no, we would have found somebody who would have been able to help us out with it.
That's true. That's true.
I don't think we would have been screwed. It might have taken us a little bit longer to make that connection.
Yeah, that's real. I agree.
And sometimes it's not necessarily who you know, but it's who someone you know who they know.
Those are my favorite because you're like, where did that come from left field? Right? Like
Yes.
left field, somebody's like, hey, you needed X, Y, and Z, right? And I'm like, thank you. Who did you come from?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I found that, who do you know who does window repairs? You know, I asked neighbor over here, I asked neighbor over there. Neither one of them knew, but the neighbor across the alley, they had somebody.
I know an amazing carpet cleaner for anybody in LA. I'll put his contact info below. If he calls me and he says like because of you, no, um, Honestly, though, like great rates, good person, not creepy, perfect.
Right. I mean, so it really is. We don't talk much about the human connection when making referrals anymore because everything's, at least everything that I have experienced, has always been just get the contact, build your list, build your email list, build your email list, build your social media list, gather as many people as possible and then find a way to filter them out later. I'm like, that doesn't seem like
Don't do that
a
anymore,
good way
folks.
to do business. No, it's
It,
better
it
to
was a it was a good way once upon a time, but right now, don't do that. Do not
no,
do that.
no. I'm finding that, even though there were, up to 20 people at this networking event, there were two people that I had one-on-one conversations with that we connected. What they do is completely different than what I do, but we've helped the same audiences. So it was a way to, okay, I don't know anyone here, but you're based out of Pennsylvania and just happened to be at this networking event. I happen to know people up in Pennsylvania who are looking for someone closer than me. So I can send them your way.
I see. And that's fair. Yeah, there's a lot of people that I feel like that was like one of the most fulfilling parts about networking was if
Mm-hmm.
I knew somebody had a really good service and I found out that this person on the other side of the country, room of networking, industries, like needed this person, it was so much fun to just connect and know that they would be
Right.
okay. Um, and I found that it really starts with building those relationships. Otherwise, kind of get faulted out.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that I really liked about this group in particular, because everyone was I mean, I had great conversations with everyone, but there were two people that I really connected with. Um, but I also know that I didn't have enough time to have those in-depth conversations with everyone there.
Mm,
So when I got home, I went down my list of everyone that I got contact information from. It was great meeting you today. Wish we had more time to talk. Are
mm,
you available this date or this date for coffee?
mm, mm,
And then just trying to connect that way. I had one person who emailed me back and said, because they're in Northern Virginia, they're like, I'm not going to be back up there for like another month, but I'll be on this virtual networking group, this virtual networking call that's part of the same group.
mm.
So we can connect then. I'm like, okay.
Nice.
So it's a whole new different experience.
Yeah, and it's funny. So in TV development, when I was working in it, somebody mentioned who's now, I think she was like an EVP of Oxygen and Bravo, and she mentioned to me, she was like mentoring me and mentioned, you need to meet with somebody new every week. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, okay, I could do that. I was so exhausted, but it made sense for that industry. And it's true. You do. You need to actually
Right.
meet somebody new every week. And then continually sustain other relationships and keep building that way. That way you generate a rapport and you start creating trusted relationships. Now I'm like, can we can meet somebody who meets somebody who I trust.
Well, it's interesting because I remember back when I was doing the auto insurance stuff, um, we had to have so many contacts with the people that we were helping with their auto accident. We had to reach out to them at the beginning to let them know what was covered. We had to investigate the accident. We had to follow up with them on repairs and then let them know once the claim had been resolved. So that's 4 touches minimum.
Mm,
In something that I read recently, because of everything changing and becoming mostly virtual and also in person, it's closer to 12 touches before someone trusts you.
Well, so explain when you mean 12.
Well, like 12 contacts. So send someone an email, follow up on that email. You have a telephone call with them, send them an email to follow up on that phone call, send an email a few days later inquiring if they had any questions on the content that you sent them or if you wanted to get together for another conversation. So it's all of these little baby things that build the relationship with
Yeah.
the person.
Yeah.
So even if I go through this process of 12 contacts with this person and they are not interested in hiring me in any way, shape, or form, I know enough about them and they know enough about me that if I bump into them at a store, we could still have a 30-some-minute conversation catching each other up on each other's lives instead of it just bumping into each other and be like, hey, and we walk away as strangers. So
Mm.
it's building that relationship of that human connection. Because I would much rather bump into somebody and catch up instead of just bump into someone and be like, what was their name again?
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No, no, that's never great.
Or especially when someone calls you out and they start having a conversation with you and then you're racking your brain trying to remember who the heck is this person? Where did I meet them? What are they talking to
Uh,
me about? I've had that happen before.
yeah.
But in my case, it's usually someone who sees me and they're thinking of my mom.
Okay.
And
Mm,
usually like after the 4 or 5 minute mark, and I'm like, I'm Katie, right?
that's funny.
And they're like,
Um,
you're Jack. No, I'm Jackie's daughter.
ooh.
Thank you for sharing. I'll send her a text message that you were thinking of her, but you really need to call her.
Oh my. Yeah. So yeah, those 30 seconds, folks. Oh no, that's not. Oh my. Well, I remember when I would go into a room, I would hear somebody's name, and then I would say my name, and then their name's out the window.
Right.
And I get that. I totally understand that. I've actually been making a point to say their name twice so I don't forget it before saying my name.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, because I've learned
Especially
from
if you
my
don't have
mistakes.
name tags.
Oh yeah, and it's so funny because I've made those mistakes before. And I'm like, who was that dude with the thing? Uh-oh. I have this number, but the name isn't there, and they're
Right.
messaging me, and I'm like, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's actually perfectly natural to forget someone's name while you're making the effort to make a good impression.
Right. Because a lot of times we're focused on the impression that we are making.
Exactly. So that's why say their name twice. That will save you in every room you go in. Every room.
Yes.
Especially if you made the mistake of mispronouncing it, so they pronounce it again for you, then you really remember.
Right. But it also makes them feel heard that you're actually paying attention to what it is that they're saying
And
versus
that
just
deepens
another hand that they're shaking.
the trust, actually.
Yes. And it really is all about building that confidence for ourselves, but building that trust with whomever it is that we're talking about.
100%. Um, so that's also another big thing when it comes to your 30 seconds is like you want people to remember what you said when you go to the handshake because that's important. Like Katie, remember when I gave my what was it? I gave a minute intro when we first met on that Zoom call.
Yeah. That one was a networking event where we each had 1 minute and it was the same thing, who you are, what it is that you do, what do you want, and what are you passionate about, and then what your ask is,
Yeah, what you're looking for.
what you're looking
And
for.
yeah, and I remember I actually did a workshop prior to,
Mm-hmm.
funny enough, to clarify what my mission is outside of whatever job, predisposition, or whatever. So I literally remember sitting down and thinking, okay, this is the goal that I want to achieve within the next 15 years. These are the why, because of this. Okay, great. Now, what do I need and what can I bring to the table? And I remember going through that, sharing that in front of everyone. And then I remember seeing Katie's DM after the unicorns one.
Yeah. And what connected me and made our connection so memorable was the fun, was the unicorn horns, was the fact that we took a few moments and instead of going on about who we are, what we're passionate about, this and this, we actually like, I love the unicorns because of this, you love unicorns because of that. And it was almost instant human connection to where everything else was like, oh wait, I remember her. She was the one with the unicorn baseball cap. Great. Now I can't wait to get on a phone call with her.
Exactly. Like it's one thing to know, like, oh yeah, we have an aligned mission. Cool. And yes, make sure that's just crisp and clean so
Yeah.
that when you get to the conversation of like the serious matter, yeah, but like people first. People want to work with people first. They don't want to just work with like some amorphic entity concept thing.
Yeah. We don't want to be a number. We want to be a person.
Because theoretically speaking, it's nice, but you're not working. Yes, you're working with a theory, but you're not like actually working with a theory. And I'm
Right.
doing this with my hands, folks, so you probably can't see this.
Yeah. As demonstration. Yes.
Yeah. Because like at the end of the day, our subject matter that we really work on, it's heavy stuff. It's not light until we insert our personalities.
Right. Because we know that there's more to your empowerment story than just the fact that you overcame something.
Mm-hmm.
We know that there's more to mental health than just the fact that everyone is talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
We know everything is unique to the individual that we talk to, and we want that individual story
Mm-hmm.
versus what everyone else is saying.
Mm-hmm.
So remembering that in your 30-second intro, this is what makes me unique, will help other people see that you're unique and want to build that stronger connection.
Yes. Also, if you do make mistakes within that 30-second intro, like you just crash, own it. People love
Own
you
it,
anyways.
smile, laugh about it, just keep going.
Just keep it rolling. Just own it, regardless. Because then it shows that you're not like it's more amiable. Not that you should be doing it to be likable, but it just shows that you're a genuine human. People want to work with genuine humans.
Yeah,
And
and it could be something just as simple as, for one of the things that I caught myself saying was, my business is actually take another step towards your vision.
Oh, that's cute.
Which is really long.
Ooh.
So I abbreviated it because the acronym is Tasty Vision.
Mm.
To reach your tasty vision, you have to take another step towards your vision.
Mm. What do you think mine is? What's my tagline, Katie? What's my new tagline, by the way?
Your new taglines.
Throw it out there. What's my new tagline?
I'm not even sure if you shared your new tagline with me.
I don't have a new one. That's why I'm like, go ahead, Katie. Just give me give me your thoughts. What's the thing that makes me go, oh yeah, that's ace?
Empowerment is one step away.
Ooh la la.
Now, don't expect me to remember that. We'll have to go back to the recording, but
thank you.
You're welcome.
Empowerment is one step away in everything I do.
In everything we do. Really, it is.
Sure. Yeah.
Reaching your goal is just one step away. So, yeah. We'll play with it some more.
Oh yeah, 100%. Right after we put that thing that we were supposed to put on our website, probably
Yeah, we're
people
still
leave
going to go back and listening to this podcast, so then that way we could update all of our stuff.
I honestly think I texted it to you a long time ago, so I'll go through the text. Yeah.
Who knows? It with everything else that's going on, it probably got lost in the if you did text it to me, it probably got lost in the text messages somewhere. So yeah. So anyways, business meeting later.
Yes, love you all. Thank you so much
Love
for
you
joining.
all. Thank you so much for being here, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for joining us. We hope that the discussion today will inspire you to take positive action in your life. Until next week, be empowered.